Hey guys, hope you are all doing well today. So we have a matchup between the Lizardmen going up against the forces of the High Elves. So let's quickly just go over the army compositions. This was a great battle that I fought against, I believe his name was Forsaken Defender. So the front line of the Lizardmen just going to be 2 units of Chameleon Skinks Vanguard deployed, really good at slowly but surely peppering down the HP of units over the course of the battle. They're especially good against dragons since usually dragons have a very high HP pool, and they also have a ton of mass, so these Chameleon Skinks have no problem at all just firing at them for the entirety of the battle. And if they manage to use most of their ammunition into those dragons, they can definitely take out a ton of HP. On either flank, it's going to be one unit of the Skink cohort just going to be flanking around trying to hit any of the archers or the artillery in the back and shut them down. The main front line is going to be a mix of Sarswarriors with shields and the cohort of Sotek, the Regiment of Renowned Red Crested Skinks. These guys will perform really good against Spearmen and, well, not as much Silvern Guard, but in this case, Spearmen and Rangers, Sarswarriors and the cohort of Sotek will win pretty handily. We have 2 units of cavalry, Cold One Spear Riders, so these guys provide some decent anti-large, mainly just going to be protecting the backlines, ensuring that the Bastildon, the solar engine, can fire the entirety of the battle without being interrupted by, say, the Frostheart Phoenix. We also have, so Vanguard deployed as well are 1 unit of Pterodon Riders, the Pawhawk Sentinels Regiment of Renowned Pterodon Riders. These guys are actually really good in this matchup for their rock drops. If you see any archer lines firing in the back doing a ton of damage to, say, the Slan or a Carnosaur, you can fly these guys overhead, do a rock drop, which actually they have a special rock drop which gives armor sundering, and that allows them to do a ton of damage to even elite archer units such as the Sisters of Avalorn. And of course, they do have decent missile attacks as well, so they can pepper down those archer units as well over the course of the battle. We have 1 Feral Carnosaur, going to be the main anti-large roaming the grounds for the Lizardmen, probably going to be protecting the Slan mostly, but also trying to shut down that Frostheart Phoenix anytime it lands. And the Slan Mage Priest of Life. Probably one of the best lords in the game. He is just so beefy with over 5,000 HP. Comes in with the normal spells associated with the Lore of Life. And he's just really powerful at keeping the dinos such as the Carnosaur and such as the Bastildon alive, while also providing buffs such as the Shield of Thorns, I believe it's called. Yep. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the Lizardmen army, so let's move on to the High Elves. Excuse me. So front line of Spearmen and Rangers, as I mentioned, they won't perform too well against Sarswarriors with shields, but their main job is just going to be holding out while the Sisters of Avalorn and the it looks like Swordmasters actually. So the Sisters of Avalorn and the Swordmasters in the back do the damage that they are supposed to do in this battle. 2 units of Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. They're really good actually at sniping down big units, beefy units such as the Carnosaur, such as the Slan, and if needed also the Bastildon with a solar engine. They're also good at anti-infantry if you switch to the multi-shot, I guess, ammunition. But in this case, I think, the best target would probably be one of the dinos, since they're probably going to be the toughest thing to take down. We have 1 unit of the White Lions of Trace, or Crace, I'm never really sure how you pronounce that, going to be playing an anti-infantry role. And I believe, so 1 more unit of Illyrian Reavers also performing a similar anti-infantry role. We have Teclis upon horseback. So pretty powerful, has a decent number of spells for healing and the such, and also comes with nets, I believe, if they brought. So nets, regrowth, enfeebling foe. Overall, a pretty powerful kit. We also have a Frostheart Phoenix, going to be a menace in the skies, going to be very tough for the Lizardmen to take down. But again, if those Chameleon Skinks can get consistent fire over the course of the battle into the Phoenix, it will work out just fine for the dinos. And yeah, I mentioned already Sisters of Avalorn, 2 units of them. Yeah, their armor-piercing missiles are just so powerful at taking down the dinos. So, protecting them at all costs is going to be vital for the High Elf strategy. And with that, let's get the battle started. So in Sisters of Avalorn, initially trading fire with Chameleon Skinks, probably a much better trade for the Chameleon Skinks since the Sisters of Avalorn their armor-piercing missiles are kind of wasted on the 40% missile resist that the Chameleon Skinks have. They also don't have much armor, so there's really no point in firing at them with the expensive ammunition of the Sisters. Now they decide to start firing into the Pahawk Sentinels, but they also have a decent amount of missile resist since they do come with the dodge abilities. Solar Engine missing its first shot, looks like it might have been going after the Eagle Claw or Teclis himself. And the Sisters of Avalorn with their great range are going to be firing in currently to some Saurus Warriors. Not the worst target since Saurus Warriors are pretty heavily armored, but again, I think a better target for them would definitely be either the Carnosaur or the Bastildon. Though the Bastildon with the Solar Engine is getting very, very low after wasting pretty much none of his ammunition. Seems like he is being obstructed right now. Luckily a regrowth is popped on him, so all the damage he has taken DHP will be returned. Son Mage Priest slowly but surely making his way up front, and a great charge from the Illyrian Reavers going directly into the cohort of Sotek. They're probably the most expensive infantry unit for the Lizardmen, and they don't have any charge defense, so definitely a great option to charge the Illyrian Reavers into them, and they do a decent amount of damage. The Solar Engine still taking shots, but not really delivering anything in return. You can see it still has pretty much full ammunition. Yeah, barely wasted any of his shots, so it's unfortunate that his ammunition isn't being used to full purpose, but ideally you would want him targeting archer lines in the back. A great play from these Cold One Spear Riders, shutting down, looks like, actually they haven't been shut down yet, but doing a ton of damage to these Sisters of Avalorn. But unfortunately, these Cold One Spear Riders have been surrounded by Frostheart Phoenix along with the Illyrian Reavers, though they have managed to do plenty of damage to the Sisters of Avalorn, the big range damage dealers of the High Elves. Shutting them down is honestly vital for the Lizardmen. Luckily, they do have a Skink cohort on standby to mop them up. The other unit of Sisters are very, very healthy, though they are being pursued by a second unit of Skink cohort. Sisters of Avalorn are actually decent melee combatants, so they might actually be able to beat the Skink cohort. Ooh, the second unit of Cold One Spear Riders was also routed by a unit of Spearmen, so unfortunately the mobility of the Lizardmen is looking rather lacking, and a Carnosaur coming in for a great rear charge into the Frostheart Phoenix. Shutting the Frostheart Phoenix down is going to be, as well as shutting down the Sisters of Avalorn, is going to be the key to victory for the Lizardmen. Man, that is a ton of damage, and a great Earthblood coming in, healing up some of the Skink cohort of Sotek, and the Feral Carnosaur. Definitely doing quite a bit of damage into the Frostheart Phoenix. Slan Mage Priest of Life is standing by to give a little bit of leadership buffs and whatever little magical attack he has, maybe provide that and do a bit of damage against the Spearmen. Man, that Frostheart Phoenix is just tanking it out like a beast, and he just manages to get away with a net from Teclis. Excuse me, my throat's been acting up recently, I'm not sure why. So a net goes down on the Feral Carnosaur, and then the Sisters of Avalorn get a couple shots into him, which is honestly very good choice, but the Sun Mage Priest of Life is still at full HP and likely has another regrowth in the pocket. Now the High Elf forces are trying to, bring their lines back together, protect the Sisters of Avalorn as much as possible. Some Pahawk Sentinels getting a frontal charge into these Sisters. They'll probably be routed, they really don't have much HP at all, but hopefully they can keep them occupied for the meantime. So a great regrowth going down on this Feral Carnosaur, an overcast regrowth actually, so going to be gaining back a ton of HP and will definitely be able to deal with majority of the threats on the battlefield. The Illyrian Reavers, the Frostheart Phoenix, they're all large units, and if they go up against the Feral Carnosaur, they will be losing that fight handily, but the High Elves do have a ton of strength left. They have 2 units of Sisters of Avalorn who somehow still fighting even though they are very depleted on HP. These ones are wavering. But they are getting some good shots into the Bastildon, who still has half his ammunition left, so really not the greatest value for this guy. He is one costly dino, and so the High Elves have done a good job of shutting him down, along with some microing errors on my part of not really letting him fire at the right units during the course of the battle. And now it's mostly just the Lizardmen shoring up their troops, the High Elves shoring up their forces, and trying to, duel it out in like one massive matchup. Teclis is running into the solar engine to try and get one final kill on him, and yeah, looks like he will be routing from the fight. And the High Elves do look like they have a commanding lead here, even though the balance of power is slightly Lizardmen favored. That's mostly due to the fact that the Slan Mage Priest of Life is super healthy and has a ton of HP, but make no mistake, he is no good at melee. If he gets surrounded by even like sisters or spearmen, he probably will be losing that fight. The Feral Carnosaur being so healthy doesn't hurt the fact that the balance of power is so much in the Lizardmen's favor. Great banishment going down, killing some of the Sisters of Avalorn and catching some of this Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower crew. Yeah, this a great net from Teclis on this Feral Carnosaur. He's taking a ton of fire from the Sisters of Avalorn, but the Chameleon Skinks are returning a bit of fire. Looks like they are going to be charged by some Illyrian Reavers, so a great charge. Going to be shutting down this scene of Chameleon Skinks for the meantime. Though I'm not really sure they have enough models to win that fight, it'll definitely keep them occupied for the meantime. And a huge engagement going on. The Frostar Phoenix going up against the Feral Carnosaur, and looks like the Feral Carnosaur has actually taken a ton of damage and is wavering. The Slan Mage Priest of Life is fighting right beside him, but probably doing little to no damage himself. And there he goes. Oh, getting another good shot. I thought he'd be routing, but no. Now he's routing. He's broken from the battlefield, and he will be running away. And it's just going to be the Slan Mage Priest of Life all by himself, with a pocket of the cohort of Sotek, which are extremely weak, though they are unbreakable, so they will be lasting just for a little bit. The Slan Mage Priest of Life, as I just mentioned, completely isolated, fighting a Frostart Phoenix and Teclis. That is no good. He's not going to win that fight in any sense of the word. Sisters of Avalorn getting some great shots into him, and look at that, the Feral Carnosaur has recovered, and he manages, he doesn't route the White Lines of Praise, but he is going to get a great charge against the Frostar Phoenix. They attempt to retreat. Ooh, that is a huge hit. The Frostar Phoenix is close to its healing cap, so there's really no saving this guy. Teclis tries to come in for the final kill on the Great Dino, but it's not looking good for the High Elves at all anymore. The Sisters of Avalorn have been recharged by the Skink cohort, so they will get shut down eventually. Frostheart Phoenix is running from the battle, and is Teclis. That Feral Carnosaur was absolutely clutch. Came in for a charge on the Frostheart Phoenix, routed him, and then Teclis was next. This Feral Carnosaur is honestly the dino of the match. And yeah, from there it's just really mopping up units. The Swordmasters of Hoeth getting skirmished down by the Chameleon Skinks, and army losses does set in. So a great battle by the High Elf player, and really just a lucky recovery from that Carnosaur, who got off two great charges against the Frostheart Phoenix and Teclis, who managed to win the fight. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this battle. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you guys in the next one.